So we've gone over sort of just some basic positional control dynamics. We've gone over what are the major things we have to concern ourselves with, what are the major openings we don't want to allow them to create. A lot of times when you show people, side control pressure, and you start telling them things like, don't open up, right? Don't make big, stupid, dramatic motions. Don't, oh, I'm gonna get this Americana. Like, he's gonna get the fuck out. He's gonna fucking get away. Like, you're gonna lose that Americana, right? It begs the question, well, Alex, thanks, but how the fuck am I supposed to finish this guy if, this person, if, like, I'm not opening up, right? And this brings us to our primary conceptual underpinning of the semester. Yeah, that's right. It's like written over in my head. Comic Sans font. Our objective in top side control is to make the situation so uncomfortable and so untenable for the bottom person that they have no choice but to try to change it. Okay? If he can just chill, if we're in side control and he's just chilling, what incentive does he have other than to recover and be able to do offense? But what incentive does he have to open up and take a risk? None, right? He's going to wait for me to open up to take a risk so that he can get his frames on the inside, so you get your frames on the inside, and he can do a big escape, right? And son of a bitch, I lost hair, right? I want him to feel more pressed to advance than me, okay? So the way I'm going to do that, the way I'm going to create a situation that's so untenable that he has no choice but to try to change it, is by ratcheting up my pressure, like almost like I'm turning a hand crane. That's why I use this pantomime. So I'm here, drag the shoulder back, right? Shoulder comes down, I start smashing the face. If I don't feel like it's there, watch, I go up to the ear, I get more of his head, drag it back, and I'm going to just start smashing the shit out of his head. My goal is for this forearm to come in front of my face. They will almost always put that forearm in front of me, right? He's going to start trying to push my face away, and this is what we're going to take advantage of, okay? What I'm going to do, let me actually turn this so that your elbow's facing the camera. What I'm going to do is as this elbow pushes on my head, the arm closest to the hip is going to frame on the elbow, and I'm going to, I want you guys to imagine that you have a rhino horn sticking out of your forehead. I'm going to circle that rhino horn and stab him on the inside of his elbow. I don't want to be on the wrist, I don't want to be outside, and I do not want my head curved. I want a straight line from my tailbone to my forehead, stabbing him through the elbow, right? So we go back, we're here, he starts to push me away, frame, catch. I'm going to use my toes to drive that elbow to the mat, right? I still have my shoulder pressure. I'm driving a little bit forward, but because he can't lock around my body, if you try to roll me over, it's pretty solid. I'm pretty solid, okay? From here, I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to do the Scooby-Doo, lock his elbow up, all right? Now, we're going to freeze here. I want to make a note. There are a few major ways that Americanas fail, which is where we're pretty obviously going, okay? I'm going to go over some finer details that I think are very critical to preventing that from happening. Number one, a lot of times, let's just say I'm going to loosen up. You go for the Americana, he takes this left hand, he puts it in your armpit, he pushes me towards his hips. Son of a bitch, and I'm gone, right? Solid escape, like we did, okay? So I'm not going to do this big dramatic lift over, right? And more importantly, I am not leaving this space between my armpit and his hand for him to move. What I need, let me move around my leg for a second. What I need to block this is for my elbow to come to the mat and glue against the side of his head, okay? At this point, if you try to push my armpit, heavy on the elbow, okay? Now, I'm going to skip a couple steps for a second because this is all going to connect. So I have like an Americana, right? Okay, so I start going to finish. And what he does is I want you to bridge up on your right shoulder to alleviate the pressure of the Americana, right? People start doing this bridging thing, right? I don't want him to be able to bridge. All it takes is for him to be able to bridge enough to get this elbow to wedge inside, and now I've lost this finish. So, guys, move this arm, please. When you put this elbow to the floor, I want to take his head and drag it towards my hips. What I'm trying to create, you guys remember, head displacement. If his spine is in a straight line, he's strong, just like we just used for a rhino horn. I had a straight line, I was able to drive his arm out of position. If he has a straight line, he can bridge and he can move. If you take their head and you crank it this way, do like a bridge, it's like fucking awesome, right? So we're here, right? Head pressure, rhino horn, drive. When I take this arm over to attack for the wrist, I'm making 3 things happen at once. I'm going around, elbow to the floor, drag his head towards my hips with my elbow. Basically want to find his ear, okay? So at this point, just with this alone, if you try to bridge, it's pretty weak. If you try to push my armpit away, it's pretty weak. I have pretty solid control with this, okay? This is going to bring us to our finish. So everyone knows I thread the needle under the arm, go over my wrist. Now, a lot of people do Americana finishes differently. You do the motorcycle grip, bring the elbow to the ribs and all this. I'm not a big fan of the bring the elbow to the ribs for one primary reason. What did we say was the first way he's likely to escape out of this Americana? What's the first thing? Get his elbow in. Get his elbow in, but what did he do when I circle my hand over? Pushed, right? What am I creating when I bring this elbow down? Space. Space. What is he going to do with that space if he knows what he's doing? Right? He's going to start pushing me away. I don't want to create that space. So what I'm going to do is I'm keeping this up here, and I'm going to switch, guys. So picture I have my C grips. Obviously no thumbs, everyone should know that, but C grips. I'm going to switch to cobra hands. Look like little cobras. That's why they're called cobra. So I'm not going to hold this Americana like this. I'm going to hold this Americana like this. Because our final way, most common way people get out of the Americana is I get this and straighten your arm, please. Okay, hold on a second. I'm a brown belt. That shouldn't work. Brown belt powers activate. All right, go ahead. Oh, fuck. Okay. Right, like his whole arm, which means his pec, his lats, his shoulders, all this, are fighting against your hands. Okay? Your internal hand muscles. So, I'm not going to have him fight my hand muscles. I'm going to rotate forward and catch him with my wrists. Please straighten your arm. Go ahead.
No, I can't.
No. Right? I got like a hand injury too. This is like, and this is nothing. This is effortless. From here, guys, I'm going to pinch my elbows together and drag them in and get the finish. I don't need to do much. Like sometimes you don't even need to start turning. It's just here, here, and crunch. So all together. Actually, you know what? I'll go and switch you out so you can see all that. How are your shoulders, Tom? I'll grab you.
I'm barricading right now. I mean,
Right.
I heard John's playing easy.
Right. So we're here. Have side control. Right. Let's actually turn this way, please. Thank you. Everybody see this? Okay. Yeah. So I have my pressure. So again, what's the main conceptual underpinning? Create a situation that is so untenable for the bottom person that they have no choice but to try to change it. If they're not fighting to get free, you're not putting enough pressure. You're not making it uncomfortable enough. So if you're here and they're just chilling, and circle towards their head, drag it back, smash their face. Like you feel like they will want to change that. As he's pushing me away, palm, rhino horn, pin. Now, once I go here, Scooby-Doo, all 3 at once.